Number 10. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay is a jack of all trades. She acts, sings, dances, writes, and is even the queen of her own business empire. Despite all of this though, the former Disney star and Hollywood bad girl has a net worth of just $500,000. Why? Well, apparently she loves to take nice long vacations, like all the time. Lohan was almost forced to declare bankruptcy a few years ago. As we all know, she fell out of the mainstream and began a very public battle with substance control issues. This left Lindsay in the low six-figure range, which somehow makes her poor by Hollywood standards. Eventually she entered rehabilitation and kicked her bad habits right into oncoming traffic. It wasn't until she posed for Playboy and opened up about her life on Oprah Winfrey's talk show that her finances began to stabilize and her career is slowly on the rise once again. Here's hoping to a Freaky Friday sequel. Check that out. Number 9. Brendan Fraser. Canadian treasure Brendan Fraser got his big break after auditioning for a film in his early 20s as a way to make some extra money before going off to college. He never made it to school though, and instead he was picked up by an agent launching his career. Brendan appeared in several blockbuster hits between 1990 and 2015, such as Journey to the Center of the Earth, the Mummy franchise, and my personal favorite, Looney Tunes Back in Action. This movie is so unhinged, please watch it, I love it. Suddenly around the mid-2010s, Brendan appeared to vanish from Hollywood entirely, only appearing in small roles in indie flicks or in TV shows, like when he played Robot Man in DC's Doom Patrol. As we know now, Brendan's seclusion was the result of poor mental health following an altercation with the former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press, Philip Rourke, in which Rourke touched Brendan Fraser inappropriately and without consent. This on top of a lengthy divorce left Brendan penniless and depressed. Thankfully though, this story has a very happy ending, as not only did he begin speaking out publicly about his experience, but thanks to his success and acceptance from the world, he was asked to audition for the role of leading man Charlie in the Oscar-nominated film The Whale, for which he won the award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Here's hoping that this is just the beginning of the next chapter of his long Hollywood career. Number 8. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin's been scaring kids and yelling about cookies since the late 1980s, starring in multiple critically acclaimed films like Beetlejuice, Hunt for Red October, and Glengarry Glen Ross. Over the past couple of years, Alec has been working on a little movie called Rust that hasn't really been able to reveal too much about its plot due to the situation surrounding Alec and one of its cinematographers, Helena Hudgens. Her life was accidentally taken from her after a firearm was used on set by Alec that contained live rounds instead of blanks like most prop firearms are supposed to. After a lengthy court battle, it was determined that Alec and the prop master Hannah Reed would be charged with involuntary manslaughter. While the prop master pleaded guilty and accepted the charges, Alec fought back and was in a highly expensive and lengthy court battle that has left him with just under $3 million. Thankfully for him, the court recently informed him that the charges were being dropped as the situation prompted a discourse on occupational safety in the film industry, the treatment of its employees, and the use of real firearms as props on set. Number 7. Nick Cage. Nick is one of those celebrities that you just can't put your finger on. Is he good? Is he bad? Is he a vampire? Who knows? The answer to these questions will be debated until the end of time. At one point in his career, the answer seemed to be good, as in 2009 alone, he made over $40 million, starring in crime drama Bad Lieutenant and the hit sci-fi thriller Knowing, alongside Rose Byrne and Liam Hemsworth. Nick's tale of woe is self-inflicted, as this man took every penny he made and used it for fun stuff. He bought horses, mansions, cars, even rare historical artifacts that surprisingly do not include the Declaration of Independence. Unless he stole it or something and just didn't tell anybody about it, that would not be surprising. By the end of the 2000s, Nick saw no money in his pockets. He was forced to sell several of his shiny new things that he just purchased, and he actually owed the IRS over $6 million. His career is still going strong, and he's even begun to take a tip upward with the critical success of his new dark comedy Renfield, in which he plays the Prince of Darkness himself, Dracula. Such a fun movie, literally, go watch it. Despite the work, he has taken a significant pay decrease and has remained in the red to this day. Number 6. Lonnie Willison. Lonnie was a model in the early 2000s, appearing on the cover of several health and fitness magazines such as Glam Fit, Glamour, and Iron Man. In 2018, she was spotted living on the streets of LA after years of being hidden from the public eye following her divorce from former Baywatch star Jeremy Jackson. Lonnie alleges that an altercation took place one night when they had been indulging in some adult beverages, in which Jackson attempted to lay his hands on Lonnie. The violent altercation left her shaken and in need of somewhere to go. Unfortunately, the divorce from Jackson left her with basically nothing, which seems to have forced her to live on the streets and scrounge for food. Recent photos show Lonnie with bruises on her hands from rummaging all day, and she is unrecognizable in her attire. Thankfully, some some justice was delivered when Jackson was kicked off of Celebrity Big Brother for exposing a fellow housemate's bare chest to the cameras. Subsequently, he was cancelled by the entire UK and is now out of work for the rest of his life. Here's hoping this gives Lonnie the hope to break out of her situation and return to that glam fit status.
Coming in at 5, Sinbad. Sinbad is a stand-up comedian and actor known for movies such as Necessary Roughness, House Guest, First Kid, Jingle All the Way, and Good Burger. He reached peak fame in the 90s, however he was ultimately forced to file for bankruptcy twice. The second time this happened, he owed around $11 million, most of which were due to back taxes. Always the case with celebrities, just pay your taxes. However, the comedian seemed to have no regrets and said he would never take back his spending habits, even telling Oprah he invested in me. To each their own, I guess. Coming in at 4, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is a Hollywood legend and has been nominated for 10 Golden Globe Awards, winning one for Best Actor for his performance of the title role in Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, which is a joke considering that film was the only DVD I threw in the bin. He is regarded as one of the world's biggest film stars, appearing in works such as 21 Jump Street, Finding Neverland, Donnie Brasco, and Edward Scissorhands. As you would expect, the actor garnered a lot, and I mean a lot of money. However, it was his spending that would eventually be his undoing. Depp filed a lawsuit against his management company, blaming them for his financial woes. In March 2016, Depp cut ties with his management company and accused them of improperly managing his money. They later went on to sue Depp for unpaid fees and countersued him for damages, alleging that Depp was responsible for his own fiscal mismanagement. In July 2018, Depp was sued yet again, this time for allegedly punching a crew member twice in the ribs during a foul-mouthed tirade. Court documents stated that the actor reeked of alcohol and took drugs on set. No surprise there. He's also a woman beater. Don't hire him. Coming in at 3, Billy Joel. Billy Joel is a singer-songwriter, composer, and pianist. Commonly nicknamed the Piano Man, he is famous for songs such as Vienna, Piano Man, and Only the Good Die Young. His music is iconic and remains popular even today. However, Billy Joel was forced to file for bankruptcy 3 times due to financial and relationship troubles. Due to 3 divorces and a brother-in-law who mismanaged his money, he ended up owing around $90 million, forcing the singer to go on tour to try and reclaim some of his fortune. Highly doubt he's gonna get that money back. Coming in at 2, Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper is a singer, songwriter, and actress with a career that has spanned over 40 years. She is famous for songs such as Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, Time After Time, She Bop, and All Through the Night, with Lauper earning the Best New Artist award at the 27th Grammy Awards back in 1985. Since then, Lauper has released over 11 studio albums and participated in many other projects. However, like the rest of the celebrities on our list, she encountered major money problems early on. Her band's first album tanked, and her manager in turn sued them for $80,000, resulting in Lauper filing for bankruptcy and taking a job at The Gap. She managed to turn things around though, but in recent years the success has left her, as well as the money. And the fans. Though she's friends with Cher, and that says a lot. I could tell you all of Cher's friends. And finally, coming in at number 1, Meatloaf. Meatloaf is a singer and actor famous for music such as Bat Out of Hell, I'd Do Anything for Love, as well as movies such as Fight Club and of course the Rocky Horror Picture Show. More than 40 years after its release, Bat Out of Hell still sells an estimated 200,000 copies annually and stayed on the charts for over 9 years, making it one of the best-selling albums in history. So saying that, you would expect the singer to be raking in money, right? Well, apparently not. His issues arose when he failed to give proper credit to the guy who helped him out with I Would Do Anything for Love, with the co-writer suing Meatloaf and nearly bankrupting him back in the 1980s. From that point on, the singer wrote all of his own material and has made somewhat of a comeback, but he never quite recovered from the huge loss of earnings.
Number 10, Lindsay Lohan. She was once the youngest and one of the highest paid Hollywood superstars who became a millionaire before being an adult. Fans remember Lindsay from her iconic role in Mean Girls, and she was once so successful in the industry that her net worth had skyrocketed to approximately $40 million. But today her net worth is around $800,000. So what happened? Long story short, she was living way above her means. Her extravagant spending habits reduced her net worth from millions to thousands. She was also pretty careless, and in 2006 she was reported to have misplaced one of her expensive handbags with $1 million worth of jewelry still inside the bag. She also tried to keep up with a party lifestyle and struggled struggled with addiction from a young age. She ended up spending large amounts every week on her habit alone, which unfortunately lost her a lot of film roles as her habit started affecting her work. Unpaid taxes were another reason why she got tangled in legal issues. In 2012, Lohan owed a massive amount of around $233,000 in due taxes, and there are other forms of debt too, like a $100,000 bill for a limousine company. Number 9. 50 Cent. Not long ago, 50 Cent was one of the richest rappers in the hip-hop industry, second only to the billionaire Jay-Z. At the height of his wealth, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson was said to be worth $155 million after tax, according to Forbes' annual hip-hop's wealthiest artist list. In fact, he's been on the same list every year since its inception in 2007. But a flailing music career, several legal battles, and poor business investments plummeted his net worth by a whopping $200 million, forcing him into bankruptcy with a debt of $32.5 million. So what happened? Well, it really came down to reckless spending and the various lawsuits that he faced throughout his career, but also several of his investments went badly and lost a lot of value during the 2008 recession, and he eventually filed for bankruptcy in 2015. According to TMZ, he struck a deal to pay $23 million in debts over 5 years. The filing came several days after a court ordered him to pay $7 million to Lastonia Levinson, whose sex tape he posted online without her consent. But despite being debt-free today, it seems like 50 is still in need of cash and regularly rants about being owed money on social media. So it's possible that he never fully recovered from his financial woes. Number 8. Kim Basinger. In the 80s and 90s, with her old-school Hollywood glam, Basinger was everywhere at one point, with starring roles in movies like Batman, Never Say Never Again, and LA Confidential. But a series of terrible financial decisions left the once wealthy A-list actress practically destitute. So how exactly did such a popular and wealthy celeb end up in this dire state? Well, in 1989, Basinger paid $20 million for the town of Brazelton, Georgia. Yeah, she really bought a whole town. But it should come as little surprise that the purchase turned out to be a pretty terrible idea. Although she saw it as an investment and planned on turning the town into a tourist attraction by building a theme park, her dreams never materialized. Eventually, she sold it for a measly $1 million in 1993, making a staggering loss of $19 million. The bankruptcy was huge news at the time, and the actress also went through a messy divorce with her ex-husband Alec Baldwin, leaving her $3 million out of pocket, and she was sued by producer Carl Mazzaconi for backing out of an oral contract to star in a film. But despite being crazy broke, Basinger's finances have stayed out of the headlines for the last 15 years. Number 7. Nicolas Cage. The 58-year-old made his money by being one of Hollywood's highest earning actors and starring in iconic films like Con Air and Ghost Rider. In fact, he made $40 million in 2009 alone. But he eventually went into extreme debt after spending obscure amounts on his fortune on some insane stuff like a $67 million Tarbosaurus dinosaur skull for $300,000, or the 11th century Bavarian castle in Germany for $8 million. In 2006, he also bought a haunted house that belonged to serial killer Madame Delphine Laurie for $3.45 million. But these spending habits really caught up with him, and by the time he was 40, he was flat out broke. Cage tried to blame his money manager for sending him, quote, down a path of financial ruin, but it didn't help that in 2009, the IRS came knocking and claimed that the actor owed them $6.2 million in property taxes. But according to GQ, Cage officially finished paying off all his debts last year after signing on to star in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Although his net worth is leagues away from where it used to be, a comeback onto the big screen could change that. Number 6. Lena Headey. The actress played Cersei Lannister on Game of Thrones and had a very successful career even before landing a role in the series. She was in iconic films like Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles, and 300. However, her bank account was reduced to just a few dollars after her divorce, as a legal battle really took everything she had. In fact, Lena had less than $5 in her bank account when the divorce happened, and she was surviving on credit cards to pay for herself and her 2-year-old son's living expenses. After 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, she was doing well again, and her net worth skyrocketed to $12 million. But it seems that the 48-year-old just cannot get out of financial trouble and is now being sued for $1.5 million by her former agency over alleged unpaid commission fees for the 2022 Marvel movie Thor: Love and Thunder. The agency alleges that Lena owes them $500,000 from her salary on the superhero flick, and at least $300,000 for the mystery drama called 9 Bullets, as well as $650,000 for the Showtime series Rita. So hopefully she can get herself out of the lawsuit, but it could land the actress right back into into another dire financial situation.
Coming in at 5, Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton had a slew of hits back in the 60s with songs such as I Know So, It's the Season, and Jingle Bell Rock. However, he made it big as a Las Vegas singer and was even the highest paid performer in 1983. By 1992, Newton was bankrupt, owing around $20 million. Now, he did manage to make his way out of debt, but the problems didn't stop there. The IRS then sued him in 2005 for failing to pay $1.8 million on the sale of his home. His property was then seized in 2010 for reportedly failing to pay off a $3.35 million loan, though eventually it was agreed that the property would be turned into a public attraction. However, more recently, it was closed for renovations in 2018 with no current plans to reopen, so sucks. Coming in at 4, Stephen Baldwin. Younger brother of Alec Baldwin, Stephen filed for bankruptcy back in 2009 while owing money on taxes and a handful of mortgages. Troubles then continued for the actor when his house was foreclosed in 2017 after 6 years of no mortgage payments. But wait, there's more. Baldwin was also arrested and served 5 years probation for failing to pay taxes for 3 straight years. Honestly, if these lists have taught you anything, folks, it's that you need to pay your taxes. I don't care how big or small they are. Just pay them, because they will find you, and you will go to prison for life. Coming in at 3, the Cassidys. According to People magazine, David Cassidy, the former 70s heartthrob, filed for bankruptcy in 2015 in his home state of Florida, despite selling over 25 million records during his career. The former star had a history of DUIs and health issues aside from major financial problems. However, by his third DUI, his wife Sue Cassidy filed for divorce in 2014. He was then forced to put up his mansion for auction in an effort to pay for his divorce. Sadly, Cassidy passed away in November of 2017. In 2018, a voice recording of the singer surfaced, revealing that he admitted to lying about having dementia and that his health issues were caused by alcohol addiction. Coming in at 2, Aaron Carter. It's no surprise that Aaron Carter is on our list, with the singer having a slew of issues stemming all the way back to the early 2000s. Carter is known for songs such as I'm All About You, Aaron's Party, and of course, I Want Candy. In 2016, the former star talked to Us Weekly about the financially terrible position he was in, even admitting that he had no savings. I quote, "When I turned 18, I got hit with all those taxes. I filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy last year. Now I'm already over $100,000 in debt." In 2018, the star released an album called Love and went on tour. However, both were a flop, and I doubt they're ever gonna get him in the green again. Sorry, Aaron. And finally, coming in at number 1, Michael Jackson. Now, I know that the King of Pop passed away on June 25th, 2009, but there are no limitations to this list, not when we're on a part 3. You would imagine the artists behind songs such as Thriller, Black or White, and Man in the Mirror would be overloaded with fortune and wealth. I mean, he had Neverland, pretty much a wonderland in similar vein as Disney. However, due to large amounts of spending and taking out loans which he never paid back, Jackson faced a ton of money problems, particularly when he got involved in expensive lawsuits and interest on his debt increased. At the time of his death, a forensic accountant estimated that the King of Pop owed around $400 to $500 million. His estate has since resolved the financial issues, and Michael has been the top earning dead celebrity since 2012. Lucky for some, I guess. I can't even make any stats while living, so.
Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Amanda Bynes. Back in 2013, Amanda Bynes' parents would outline a troubling portrait of the star in a court papers as they were seeking a legal conservatorship to manage her affairs. Among other things, they would also tell Ventura County Court that Amanda had been suffering from severe body image issues that left her feeling extremely paranoid about being watched, to the point that she would cover smoke alarms with towels, tape windows shut, and even cover her car dashboard with cardboard and tape out of fear that cameras were watching her from inside these places. Amanda's fears were so strong that she soon became obsessed with the idea that she and others were ugly. Her parents also noted that this was around the time their daughter also started to talk about cosmetic surgeries that she wanted to get consistently, and that they even received large doctor bills from surgeons just a few months since they moved to New York, as Amanda had spent a large amount of her fortune. With Amanda being worth only $4 million at the time, she spent around $1.3 million of her money just in a short amount of time, which was kinda concerning. Number 9, Heidi Montag. So back in 2010, Heidi Montag would admit to the Daily Mail that she wished she hadn't wasted so much of her money on plastic surgery, after she and Spencer Pratt revealed that they were considering filing for bankruptcy after blowing their $10 million fortune. The reality TV couple who splurged all of their fortune on crystals, luxury cars, and Heidi's plastic surgery, and failed pop album would also know that they owed close to $2 million in taxes. The former stars of The Hills would then claim that they had to move into Spencer's parents' guest home after struggling to pay the rent on their $35,000 a month Malibu mansion. Heidi then would go on to note that Spencer's parents would even have to go out to the grocery stores for them on the weekend, and that she regrets her costly decision to undergo 10 plastic surgery procedures. Before saying, "I spent thousands on the procedures and aftercare. I had private nurses coming twice a day for 2 months for treatments and bandage chances. Each time they came, it cost $2,000. I wish I didn't waste so much money on it." Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming number 8, we have Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson passed away in 2009, his passing would leave behind so many unanswered questions about the eccentric pop star's alleged plastic surgery. Throughout his career, his dramatic transformations made him infamous as fans wondered exactly how much surgery he had. In 2015, a documentary would be released called The 10 Faces of Michael Jackson, and in this documentary it would hint that the late singer had more than 100 procedures done on his face, and that the late star passed away with a staggering amount of debt, with his abandoned Neverland Ranch serving as a haunted reminder of his extravagant pop star past. With Michael having countless sold-out tours and endorsement deals, he was also the owner of a multi-million-pound music catalog that included his own work and that of artists such as the Beatles. But incredibly, the wealth he was bringing in with royalties was said to have been nothing compared to the incredible amount of debt he was simultaneously racking up. A forensic accountant asked to speak at the 2013 trial would then explain that Jackson blew his entire fortune on gifts, travel, art, zoo animals, jewelry, furniture, donations to numerous charities, as well as plastic surgery. At the time of Michael's passing, he was $500 million in debt due to his spending habits. Number 7, Lil' Kim. Before there was Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, there was Lil' Kim. With a string of successful albums to her name, she went on to mentor many others who came after her. Lately though, her name has been surfacing due to reasons unrelated to music, mostly because of her ever-changing looks. As years went by, Lil' Kim began appearing on red carpets and in interviews with lighter skin, higher cheeks, a smaller nose, and in addition, drastic alterations. It then became clear one day that the rapper was spending half of her time in the recording studio and the other half in the plastic surgeon clinic. In an interview in 2005, Lil' Kim admitted to getting several nose jobs done after she had her nose broken. The rapper then continued to undergo multiple surgeries so she could keep up with the impossible beauty standards the world kept advertising. And men also played a major role in her insecurities as they made her believe that she wasn't pretty enough. In June of 2018, Kim reportedly had to file for bankruptcy and hoped to auction off her New Jersey home to help her pay off her enormous $4 million debt. Official court documents would then reveal that the rap superstar was earning around $18,000 a month and her personal expenses were reaching close to $13,000. So this left Kim with no option but to file for bankruptcy, as she couldn't find a way to pay her ever-growing amounts of money that she owed to the IRS, with her also owing over $1.5 million in federal income taxes. This would cause Kim's net worth to be around $500,000 today, which is a far cry from what she used to be worth. Number 6, Stassi Schroeder. Former Vanderpump Rules TV personality Stassi opened up in her book that she published in April of 2019 about why she chose to get a chin implant, chest reduction, among other alterations. In the book, she would say it's one of the best things that she's ever done to this day, as it made her feel good about herself. She then went on to point out that her parents trusted her judgment to get the surgery done, and she was just desperate to have a bigger chin and a more defined jaw. While the star has experienced many ups and downs in her career, like being fired from Vanderpump Rules in 2020, she has still amassed an impressive amount of money, as she has an estimated net worth of $2 million. But if she didn't fork out $20,000 on plastic surgery and then more money on nurses while they would change her bandages every every day, she would probably be worth more money than she is today.
Coming in at 5, Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson is an actress, model, and animal rights activist, best known for her appearance in Playboy magazine, as well as for her work on the television series Home Improvement and Baywatch. After her long career and cameos she's had throughout those years, you would have thought Pamela would be set for life, at least a little bit. However, that is not the case. From the plastic surgeries to her expensive home and party lifestyle, she quickly became noticed by the IRS for failing to pay her taxes. Classic. This in turn put the actress in a huge amount of debt for a while before she slowly began to climb her way back out. People pay taxes, it's not that hard, especially if you're making millions. Get a savings account, put some money in it, and then you don't have to worry. Coming in at 4, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser is an actor best known for playing Rick O'Connell in the Mummy trilogy, as well as for starring in works such as George of the Jungle, Looney Tunes, and Journey to the Center of the Earth. However, the actor has seemingly disappeared, not just from Hollywood, but from the public eye in general, although he did star in the action series Doom Patrol. For a period of time you would have thought that Fraser was overloaded with cash. Unfortunately, Hollywood will barely touch him now, and as of right now he has to take anything that comes his way just to pay child support, because as of right now the actor is extremely broke. I'm sorry, Brendan. That sucks. Coming in at number 3, Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is an actor, director, producer, martial artist, and author who is known for works such as White Men Can't Jump, Demolition Man, and of course the Blade trilogy, in which he plays Blade. He's also all seemed to be going well for Snipes until he decided not to pay his taxes, which amounted to $12 million owing to the IRS. Snipes ended up serving his time for tax evasion up until 2013, and since then has only starred in a handful of notable action flicks, including The Expendables 3. Rumor has it this was actually a favor from Sylvester Stallone. What a good friend. Coming in at number 2, Courtney Love. Courtney Love is a singer-songwriter and actress known for being the lead singer of her band Hole, which she formed back in 1989. I loved the band. However, over the years, Love has drawn public attention for her uninhibited live performances and confrontational lyrics, as well as her highly publicized personal life following her marriage to Kurt Cobain. Gone too soon, RIP. Of course, Cobain was considered a god among musicians back in the day, and in turn Love profited off of that fame. A serious drug problem and overspending led to major financial woes for the singer, which forced her to sell the rights to the Nirvana songs she'd gained a stake in, as well as her house. Not to mention there are a ton of conspiracy theories surrounding the singer that she had some involvement in the death of the Nirvana frontman. And finally, coming in at number 1, Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is known for some of Hollywood's biggest movies, including Peggy Sue Got Married, Raising Arizona, Moonstruck, starring Cher, Face Off, and Con Air. You would think he would be rolling in those big Hollywood paychecks, however that doesn't appear to be the case. According to Forbes magazine, Cage earned $40 million in 2009, making him one of Hollywood's highest paid actors. Unfortunately, it seems that Cage has an issue with spending, as well as an equally hefty problem with his financial advisor. After Cage faced foreclosure on several properties and the IRS came for him looking for $6.2 million, Cage sued his advisor, claiming negligence and fraud. However, in a countersuit, Cage's manager alleged that the actor had blown through at least $33 million on vintage cars, 4 luxury yachts, and 15 homes around the world. Again, no one needs 15 homes. You need one. Okay? Just get one big one. The lawsuits have been settled, but it seems that Cage is still trying to fix his financial woes, with the actor currently trying to unload several properties, including a chalet in Colorado and an entire island in the Bahamas. Who needs a whole island? No one. I don't even like the beach. Coming in at 10, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan is an actress, singer, songwriter, businesswoman, fashion designer, and film producer, best known for roles such as Mean Girls, The Parent Trap, and Freaky Friday. Now, although her wild child days are behind her, for now, Lohan still seems to be spending lengthy vacations on the Mediterranean, which is bizarre considering she has a net worth of just $500,000. A lot of money for us, but quick spending money for an actor. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Lohan skirted close to bankruptcy, but posing for Playboy and sitting down with Oprah allegedly pulled her back into the green. For now. Coming in at 9, MC Hammer. MC Hammer is a rapper, dancer, record producer, and entrepreneur. He had his greatest commercial success and popularity from the late 1980s until the early 1990s, with most knowing him for the smash hit You Can't Touch This and Too Legit to Quit. During the 80s and 90s, MC Hammer garnered a huge fortune, putting 200 people on his payroll, buying a huge mansion, as well as a slew of other luxuries. And of course, following his spending spree, he was forced to file for bankruptcy by 1996, owing $13 million. He then went on to rebrand himself as a minister. Big moves. Coming in at 8, Gary Busey. Gary Busey is an actor known for work such as Lethal Weapon, Predator 2, Point Break, Under Siege, The Firm, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and so much more. For portraying Buddy Holly in the Buddy Holly Story back in 1978, Busey was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor. Not too shabby. However, in 1988 he was involved in a serious motorcycle accident that left him with significant brain damage when he was just 44 years old. Following the incident though, he continued to book jobs and is perhaps one of the most prolific actors in Hollywood. So it may be shocking to hear that Busey is only worth around $500,000 today, which is yes again a lot of money for us, but not a lot for such a successful actor. Coming in at 7, Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton is a singer, songwriter, pianist, record producer, actress, television personality, and philanthropist. She has sold over 67 million records worldwide, including 41 million albums, making her one of the highest selling female R&B artists in history, even winning 5 Grammys along the way. She ultimately grossed around $170 million for her albums, but only made around $5 million, less than a 3% profit. Unlike many celebrities who mismanage money, she owed millions to managers, lawyers, and banks and has been in debt ever since. Coming in at 6, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is a retired professional basketball player who once played for the Detroit Pistons, San Antonio Spurs, Chicago Bulls, LA Lakers, and Dallas Mavericks in the NBA. He was nicknamed The Worm and was famous for his fierce defensive and rebounding abilities. Like many of the stars on our list, he had a huge problem with spending and was in the red for most of his career until recently actually. He now has a net worth of around $500,000, which is good considering he was ordered to pay $500,000 in back child support to his ex-wife in 2000. Probably in the green because he's friends with Kim Jong-un, which is weird.
Number 5, Melanie B. Spice up your life and check out this next entry. Mel B was just one of the 5 women responsible for creating some of the most iconic pop songs of all time that we still love to dance to the moment it comes on our speakers. The Spice Girls were a popular singing group from the UK formed in the early 90s. They quickly rose to fame with hits like Wannabe, Spice Up Your Life, and Say You'll Be There. You would think that with all that fame, you would certainly come fortune, right? Well, we've got one word for you: divorce. She accumulated a massive net worth during her time with the crew, but unfortunately the majority of that cash vanished while she was married to film producer Stephen Belafonte from 2007 to 2017. The final blow came when Mel officially cracked and filed for divorce. In court, her husband blamed Mel for the financial loss due to her extravagant and affluent lifestyle. Hey man, she's a Spice Girl. She's allowed to spend her money however she wants. Get back behind your desk and zip it. Her Spice Girl earnings originally sat at a whopping $50 million, but currently only sitting closer to 6. It's still a lot of money, but certainly not what could and definitely should have been. Number 4, Billy Joel. He sung us a song as the piano man, and his brother stole all of his cash. Billy Joel is a world-famous musician behind some of the songs that are considered to be the greatest of all time. With hits like We Didn't Start the Fire and Piano Man, he has surely serenaded your heart over and over again. But despite his massive success, Billy's financial woes have been vast for a majority of his career. He's been forced to file for bankruptcy over 3 times throughout his career. While early on the issues stemmed from multiple messy divorces in which his personal funds were essentially vacuumed away from him, his brother-in-law mismanaged his funds and stole money from Joel. All said and done, he ended up owing nearly $9 million in fees and payments that resulted in him being forced to go on world tour. Yes, he was forced to travel the world and sing for his fans. Okay, that sounds dreadful. Number 3, Mike Tyson. In 1997, Mike Tyson stepped into the ring with fellow heavyweight boxer Evander Holyfield. The two partook in a legendary battle that left Holyfield champion and missing part of his ear. That was because Mike had bitten it off in the middle of the fight, completely out of nowhere. This was the first of many times that Mikey would make headlines as his antics outside of the ring began to overshadow his skills as a fighter. Mike is another man who made millions and wasted it all having a good time really fast. At one point, his net worth was $400 million, but he spent all of it as he struggled with impulse control issues. Duh! He spent his money on whatever caught his eye, including a gold chain, for which he spent $173,706 on in Las Vegas. His spending habits eventually left him with over $23 million in credit debt and taxes, forcing him to file for bankruptcy. Eventually, he was able to scrape together some cash and now sits at a comfortable $10 million, which for some reason is considered poor. Like, come on, get me some, man. Number 2, Kanye West. Kanye is our go-to guy when it comes to controversial and universally despised celebrities. Before 2020, Kanye was on the rise and had become a full-fledged billionaire thanks to his multiple business ventures and successful music career. Things quickly took a turn for the worse when Kanye basically had a mental breakdown live on Twitter. He posted a series of homophobic and racially fueled tweets aimed at several orientations and races that left Kanye beyond broke. He was dropped by all clothing and shoe brands that carried his products, such as The Gap, Balenciaga, and of course Adidas, the heaviest of the blows. This combined with his production company putting a pause on any musical projects that he had been undertaking caused him to go from being in the billions to the low hundreds of thousands in one single tweet. And at number 1, Donald Trump. The former president and all-around human trash bag Donald Trump has recently returned to the news cycle in the best way possible. Following a long and strenuous investigation, it was revealed that Donnie was guilty of 37 counts of falsifying business documents and paying off his enemies to keep silent about his misdeeds. He paid Stormy Daniels to stay quiet about an affair. He paid off lawyers, reporters, so many people getting so much money from a man who was once considered to be the wealthiest real estate mogul in the United States. Well, Donnie didn't have a never-ending supply of cash, and he has officially gone bankrupt due to the court proceedings and fees that he's surely going to face. While it's not official just yet, Don has been teetering between broke and well off since he was kicked out of the office. Good luck in prison, Donnie. Invest in cup of soups. I heard it's a hot commodity in there.
Coming in at 10, Mark Twain. Yes, I know, Mark Twain is no longer with us, but he still has a place on our list, and you'll see why in a moment. Throughout his long career, Twain desired to become rich and even married up the social ladder in order to make that happen. However, his dream never came true. After the success of Grant's biography and the adventures of Tom Sawyer, Twain's publishing house went bankrupt. His financial failings contributed to depression, and in 1894 Twain declared bankruptcy. However, later down the line, with more writing and popular speaking tours, Twain managed to get out of the red, but then lost around $30,000 in a protein powder investment. Which, Mark Twain, protein powder, I don't see him wanting to get them gains. Coming in at 9, Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye is known as one of the most famous musicians of all time. However, few people know that in 1976, he filed for bankruptcy after not making his alimony payments to his first wife, Anna Gordy Gaye. Then in 1976, a judge ordered Gaye to pay his ex $600,000 from his upcoming album, Here My Dear, which is pretty on the nose if I do say so myself. Then, as we all know, he was shot and killed by his father in 1984. At that time, he still owed Anna almost $300,000 in back alimony. Coming in at 8, Leif Garrett. Leif Garrett is a former singer, actor, and television personality who became famous as a teen idol in the 1970s. He was known for songs such as I Was Made for Dancing, New York City Night, and When I Think of You. However, Garrett admitted that he started using drugs when he was just 14 years old. On November 3rd, 1979, 5 days before his 18th birthday, he crashed a Porsche 914 that was being leased to his mother after a midnight party while he was driving to buy more cocaine. He was later tried a juvenile on DUI charges. His license was suspended for 1 year and he was placed on probation. In December 1984, he was ordered to pay $3.9 million, which put the singer in the red. Nowadays, barely anyone remembers who he was, particularly by people under the age of 40. That is very sad. He is still alive, so that's one. Coming in at 7, Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman was a famous child star known for roles such as Different Strokes, The Gary Coleman Show, and The Kid with the Broken Halo. During this time, he was making around $70,000 per episode of Different Strokes, but by the time the show ended, his adopted parents and business advisor had mismanaged his earnings in a huge way. Coleman struggled to find work in Hollywood following success, but eventually won a settlement against his parents, but that wasn't enough to avoid bankruptcy. After all of his lawyer's fees and investments, Coleman had to work as a security guard. He then faced major legal issues throughout the 2000s before passing away in May of 2010. Coming in at 6, T-Pain. In an interview with the radio show The Breakfast Club, T-Pain opened up about his financial problems over the course of his career. He revealed that he once went from having around $40 million in the bank at the height of his career to having so little money that he had to borrow it to get his kids Burger King. I quote, "Now I know what the high end is and what the low end is. I've been mega rich, I've been super broke, right in the middle of thinking I was mega rich and then got rich again. And you know, I learned how to really give a shit about money." He has said that he is doing much better now, but he may never reach the highs he once did. simply because we've all forgotten he even existed.
Number 5. Mike Tyson. The heavyweight champion made more than $700 million from his boxing fights alone, and was one of the highest paid athletes of all time. At his peak, his net worth was estimated to be more than $340 million. So what happened? Well, the New York Times described Tyson's bankruptcy as a lesson in ways to squander a fortune. So you can pretty much guess. The boxer spent his wealth on cars, jewelry, mansions, and also paid for some unusual services. In fact, in 1996, he paid a camp aide named Crocodile $300,000 to dress in fatigues and repeatedly shout guerrilla warfare at his news conferences. Tyson also paid $2 million for a golden bathtub and 3 Bengal tigers, which reportedly cost him $71,000 per tiger, and a further $70,000 on their maintenance and diet. He even had to hire an animal trainer that cost him $125,000. As a result, Tyson fell deeply into debt despite his immense earnings and was forced to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2003, reporting that he was a whopping $38.4 million in debt before returning to jail and checking into rehab. His net worth is now a fraction of what it used to be at around $10 million, but he's managed to reach financial stability again and seems to be doing well for himself. Number 4. Toni Braxton. The R&B singer has been making hits since the 90s and is mostly known for love songs and songs about heartache. But Toni Braxton is also very well known for her immense financial troubles over the years. After selling 15 million copies of her second album in 1996, fans were confused when she filed for bankruptcy, claiming that she had an astounding $50 million in debt. Everyone was confused because at the time of the filing, she had sold out world tours and millions of albums. Well, it turns out that she was suing her record label to terminate her recording contract because she was only receiving 33 cents per album, making it impossible for her to make money from album sales. Her career continued to soar after her messy legal battle, and she eventually became the headlining act of the Flamingo Hotel's casino, which seemed to be going great until it wasn't. The singer collapsed on stage during a show in 2007 and was hospitalized immediately after. She told ABC News in 2012, quote, "The Vegas show, I just renewed my contracts with all my vendors, and then a month later I got sick. I couldn't work and could not afford to pay them back." She was forced to file for bankruptcy a second time, but has since been able to turn her situation around by starring in her own reality TV show, Braxton Family Values. Number 3. Sydney Sweeney. At 24 years old, the Euphoria actress scored her first 2 Emmy nominations for roles in not one but 2 acclaimed HBO series. She has also started her own production company, 50/50 Films, and in the past year worked as an ambassador for many high fashion brands. But Sweeney recently revealed in a Hollywood Reporter interview that she still feels the financial pressure of paying her monthly bills, admitting that she was worried if she took a break from work, there would be no money and no support for any potential children that she would have. Quote, "If I wanted to take a 6-month break, I don't have income to cover that. I don't have someone supporting me. I don't have anyone I can turn to pay my bills or call for help." Although she's doing incredibly well for her age and her net worth is reportedly around $5 million, she claimed that actors don't get paid like they used to, and explained why she's experiencing financial strain. Among other reasons, Sweeney says that streaming sites don't provide residuals and claimed that paying her publicist every month costs more than her mortgage. She admitted that if I just acted, I wouldn't be able to afford my life in LA. And she also said that she takes several deals because she has to, so it seems that even working actors can wind up broke. Number 2. Amber Heard. The actress is known for her roles in several films, including the DC Comics Aquaman movie, but these days her name is synonymous with her now ex-husband Johnny Depp. Despite appearing in DC's Aquaman and making around $1 million, which is her highest paid role to date, Heard's total net worth is estimated to be minus $6 million. Why? Well, it's safe to say that she faced financial trouble after the highly publicized defamation trial brought against her by her ex-husband, but her situation has been looking much worse post-verdict. The actress was ordered to pay Depp $10 million in compensation and $5 million in punitive damages after a jury said that she defamed him. The judge later capped the damages at the Virginia maximum of $350,000, minus the $2 million that Depp was ordered to pay Heard, which means she owes him a total of $8.35 million. But the issue is that she has a reported net worth of only $3.5 million, making her officially broke. And if you thought things couldn't get any more downhill, she's unable to file for bankruptcy to wipe away the charges. This might have otherwise been an option for her, but the award is not dischargeable because punitive damages are never deductible or dischargeable. So there's no doubting the fact that she is broke. Number 1. Aaron Carter. You'd think earning millions of dollars before you turn 18 would set you up for an early retirement, but that never seems to be the case with child stars. Aaron Carter became a star in his own right very early on, reportedly amassing an estimated net worth of millions of dollars. He told Oprah, quote, "I made over $200 million in my career before I even turned 18 years old. As a result of his fame and fortune, his family lived very well on a massive compound with 12 houses on it, which Carter claims was worth over $10 million. But as a teen, he started getting into trouble with the law, which totally ruined his wholesome reputation and eventually affected his ability to make records. Quote, labels were like, we don't want to touch you. You're dead and gone. There's no more Aaron Carter. The star said he tried to rebuild his image when he realized the consequences of his actions, but it was too late. By the time he was 18, Aaron was already broke and had to declare bankruptcy in 2013 with $2 million of debt. At the time, he was left with only $917 in his checking account. He's managed to get back on track somewhat since then, and the now 34-year-old has a net worth of $400,000, but he would need a real career comeback to even attempt to regain his wealth.
Coming in at number 10, Donald Trump. We're starting off strong with this list. President Donald Trump regarded his business experience as one of the main reasons he was the right choice for president. Well, however, while Trump has never declared bankruptcy, his companies have gone bankrupt 6 times. The first was in 1991 when his Trump Taj Mahal casino in Atlantic City went bust. Several more went bankrupt in 1992 and 2 more went down in 2004 and 2009. Following the final bankruptcy, Trump stepped down as chairman of Trump Entertainment Resorts and reduced his share in the business to just 10%. To quote Trump himself, "I've cut debt, by the way. This isn't me personally, it's a company. Basically, I've used the laws of the country to my advantage, just as many others on top of the business world have." Sure, Jan, sure. Coming in at number 9, Kim Basinger. Kim Basinger is an actress, singer, and former fashion model. She even won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in LA Confidential back in 1997. However, following the peak of her success, the actress found herself in dire financial straits after she backed out on an agreement to appear in the film Boxing Helena and was in turn ordered to pay $8.1 million to Mainline Pictures as a result. This ultimately led Basinger to declare bankruptcy. Among the assets that were liquidated was the town of Braselton, Georgia, a tiny town which she and other investors had bought with the idea of turning it into a tourist attraction. Her share of the town was eventually sold. Coming in at number 8, 50 Cent. 50 Cent is a singer, songwriter, rapper, actor, television producer, entrepreneur, and investor. The star broke out as a rapper in the late 1990s, but he seems to make most of his money from a diverse business empire. In 2015, 50 Cent was reportedly $32 million in debt while caught up in lawsuits and unpaid child support, and in 2016 he declared bankruptcy. In 2018, reports stated that 50 Cent was all of a sudden a millionaire again because of the 700 bitcoins he was reportedly paid on his 2014 album. However, the singer later reported that these rumors weren't true and that he has never owned bitcoins in his life. Coming in at number 7, Larry King. Larry King is a television and radio host whose work has been recognized with awards including 2 Peabodys, an Emmy Award, and 10 Cable ACE Awards. You would think the TV personality would be set for life, right? Well, you're not completely wrong. For a period of time though, particularly in the 70s, King wasn't doing so hot. Even when he was given his own talk show, the money didn't seem to last considering how many times he was married and then divorced. Alimony payments of course took a toll on the star, leaving him close to penniless. As of right now, he is doing a lot better, but he's still not doing as well as you would expect. Coming in at number 6, Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson is a musician, actor, and activist best known for Red-Headed Stranger and Stardust. However, Willie has not been playing by the rules. Unlike most of our list, was avoiding federal taxes, and the IRS came knocking, looking for $16.7 million, including interest and penalty fees. He managed to negotiate the bill down to $6 million, but Nelson still couldn't pay the fine, so in 1990, the IRS raided his home and seized almost everything he owned, including 20 properties and most of his instruments. Who needs 20 properties? I just need one. Nelson ended up recording the IRS tapes Who Will Buy My Memories, and fans in turn organized fundraisers to help the singer out of his debt. With the help of the tapes, he managed to pay off most of the debt, which is amazing. Wish someone could pay my debt. But no, I'm not Willie Nelson, am I?
Number 5, Mama June Shannon. So back in 2020, Mama June, who is known as June Shannon, is a reality TV personality known for her family show, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Because she has spent more than a decade on television, you would assume that June wasn't exactly hurting for money, but that clearly isn't the case. As back in 2020, June would admit that she had to sell her house after going broke, and then it would also be known that the star spent her entire fortune not only on $75,000 worth of plastic surgery, but also on substances. She would also state that she was spending over $250,000 in 4 months because she spent a large part of her fortune that she made on reality TV on surgery, while partying with her ex-boyfriend. According to the Celebrity Net Worth, Mama June is now only worth $50,000, which would likely come to a shock to many since she's on reality TV and she's amassed quite a fan following in the past decade. Number 4. Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke used to be one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood, but thanks to his obsession with plastic surgery, the star is now completely unrecognizable after leaving Hollywood to become a boxer. Mickey had a pretty successful career, and he won 27 matches, including 12 knockouts and 3 defeats between 1964 to 1973. His return to the ring as a professional boxer in the 1990s also proved to be equally successful, as he remained undefeated in 8 fights and had 6 wins, including 4 knockouts and 2 draws. Unfortunately, his career choice also came with a string of severe facial injuries, as he had to face a broken nose twice, and he even had a compressed cheekbone, which caused the star to undergo several reconstructive surgeries to treat his boxing injuries. However, many of those surgeries failed to bring the actor the desired results and prompted him to go under the knife consistently, which caused him to lose a large chunk of his net worth. While the star is now worth $10 million, he is also in $50,000 worth of debt with Amex, and he is ranked up $70K in therapy bills. Number 3. Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson went from earning $6.6 million a year to being flat broke. While the star has been the subject of plastic surgery rumors many times over her decade-long career, the former TV star has also been mostly quiet about which procedures she has actually undergone since her debut in 1989. The star over the years has undergone through a series of plastic surgeries, from lip fillers, nose jobs, and chest enlargement, which she had to fork out thousands of dollars. However, it wasn't just her trips to the doctors and her trips to the mall that caused Pamela to lose her entire fortune, as she would later become a tax delinquent after it was revealed that she owed over $450,000 in unpaid taxes, making the star now worth only $20 million, but it could have been more if she paid her bills and didn't spend all her money on plastic surgery and lavish spending. Number 2. Jocelyn Wildenstein. Former billionaire Jocelyn Wildenstein, known as Catwoman, went bankrupt with $0 in her account. Back in 2019, Jocelyn had to file for federal Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and according to the New York Post, she listed her city bank account balance at $0 in the filing. She then would also note that she was only getting $900 a month in social security payments, which probably would have been avoidable if the star didn't spend over $4 million on plastic surgery. However, Jocelyn's love for plastic surgery has earned her the celebrity status she has today. The so-called socialite first started undergoing the knife because she wanted to please her ex-husband, as he had a thing for big cats. The star then proceeded to go through countless surgeries to land a cat-like look. While the star claims her debt came with divorce and it had nothing to do with her outrageous spending, I'm sure she didn't spend more than $4 million on surgery. She probably would still be a billionaire today, and she would be worth a lot more than $10 million. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Janice Dickinson. Back in 2013, the Daily Mail would report that Janice Dickinson declared bankruptcy after she accumulated nearly $1 million in debt. The former judge on America's Next Top Model declared bankruptcy after racking up unpaid bills and doctor bills for plastic surgery procedures. Janice, who owed more than $8,000 to Vevert Hill dermatologist and also more than $8,000 in debt with a Beverly Hills anti-aging center, the former supermodel would also confirm the report later on Radar Online, where she stated she was eager to pay back her debt. On top of her plastic surgery debt, she was also in debt due to unpaid taxes, which equaled out to be more than $500,000. And she would also be accused of stealing $20,000 worth of jewelry at a charity fashion show during New York Fashion Week.